Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something pretty interesting from the world of construction materials.
Yeah.
Graphene concrete.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a bunch of information here from a company called the Graphene Solution. They're based down in Houston, Texas.
Right.
They even gave contact details, info@thegraphenesolution.com, and a phone number 713-683-9640 if you want to dig deeper later.
It's good to know.
Their big claim is that this stuff makes concrete stronger, smarter, and built for the future.
That's quite the statement.
It is. So our goal today is basically to unpack that. What is this material, really, based on what they tell us? Why all the buzz?
Exactly. We're aiming to give you the core picture, without getting totally bogged down in super technical jargon. What is it? Why should you maybe care? And what could it actually mean for building things down the line? Just a clear overview of this innovation.
Okay, perfect. So let's start right there. What is graphene concrete, according to the Graphene Solution?
Well, they describe it as graphene-enhanced concrete. Seems the focus is on three main things: strength, sustainability, and just better overall performance.
And they have actual products, like additives and things.
Yeah, they mention a range of things like concrete macrofibers, graphene oxide additives, but the core idea seems to be that this is a real step up from, traditional concrete.
Right. They seem to position it against what they call outdated concrete.
Exactly. They're really emphasizing improvements in, how fast it sets, how long it lasts, its basic structural strength.
They use phrases like engineered for superior strength, faster curing, and long-lasting durability. Sounds pretty confident.
It does. It signals they see this as a definite upgrade over the standard stuff.
And it's not just about being stronger, is it? They mention sustainability, too.
Mm-hmm. That's a big part of their pitch. They talk about helping to reduce carbon emissions and really extend the lifespan of projects.
That combination, stronger and greener, that sounds like potentially a very big deal for construction.
It really could be. I mean, construction has a huge environmental footprint, as you know.
It's true.
So any material that can genuinely cut emissions while also performing better, yeah, that gets your attention. They pin this on their advanced graphene additives. That's the key, apparently, to the strength, the faster curing, the durability.
Okay, so what's the tech behind it? What's the actual science as they describe it?
They point straight to graphene integration. That's the core innovation.
Graphene integration.
Yeah. And they put some numbers on it, too, based on their experience, like a 50+% increase in structural strength.
Wow, 50%.
And a 30+% faster curing time.
Okay, those are not small numbers. That's significant improvement.
Definitely suggests a real performance leap.
Let's circle back to that sustainability angle then. We touched on it, but what else do they say about being eco-focused?
Well, they stress that it's about lowering emissions with every project.
Ow.
One key way, they say, is it helps reduce the need for cement. And cement production, that's a major source of corros, right?
A huge source, yeah.
So less cement means lower emissions. They frame it as supporting sustainable building practices and making structures last longer, which, longer lifespan means less rebuilding, less waste.
So it's a double benefit there, stronger and potentially greener. Okay, makes sense. Now, where can you actually use this stuff? They list 10 different applications, which sounds pretty versatile.
Yeah, quite a range. Let's see. First up, high-rise buildings.
Okay, demanding application. What's the benefit there?
They talk about superior compressive strength, which is obviously critical. Also, lightweight properties, potentially less load on the foundation.
Ah, interesting.
And then things like better structural stability and enhanced safety in seismic zones, important for tall buildings.
Definitely. Okay, what about big infrastructure, bridges and overpasses?
There, the keywords are durability and resistance. They highlight crack resistance and longer lifespans.
Which means less maintenance, right? Fewer closures.
That's the idea. Especially under heavy traffic, extreme weather, you want something that lasts.
Makes sense. Next on their list, roadways and highways. We've all seen cracked roads.
Exactly. So the claim is it resists cracking and surface wear, good for high traffic zones, places with big temperature swings. Again, longer life, fewer repairs.
Okay. How about something totally different? Marine structures, piers, seawalls. Saltwater is tough.
Very tough. And that's where they say graphene concrete helps protection from saltwater corrosion. It apparently resists moisture and those harsh coastal conditions better, improving longevity. Could be a game changer for coastal infrastructure.
That does sound useful.
Yes.
Let's maybe look at one more really critical application they list. Nuclear and energy infrastructure.
Right. Safety is absolutely paramount there.
Non-negotiable.
And here they emphasize Unmatched fire resistance and structural integrity. Crucial for power plants, reactor containment, places where failure is just not an option.
Yeah, you need the absolute best materials there. Okay,
Yeah.
so it covers a really wide spectrum.
Seems like it. They also mentioned dams, tunnels, residential and commercial buildings, industrial facilities, even airport infrastructure.
Wow. Okay, so pretty much anywhere you use concrete now, they see a potential application.
That seems to be the message.
Now, it's one thing to list applications, another to see it in action. Do they mention any completed projects? Real-world stuff?
They do, actually. Several listed right there in Houston, their home base.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
There's a seawall reinforcement project trying into that marine durability point,
Okay.
an Agramax silo foundation focusing on strength and stability for agricultural use,
Makes sense for a heavy silo.
then a seismic-ready school retrofit.
Ah, using it to upgrade existing buildings.
Exactly. Bringing older schools up to modern earthquake safety standards, plus making them more durable long-term, shows it's not just for new builds.
That's a good point. Any others?
Two more in Houston. A green tech logistics center highlighting durability and weather resistance for industry. And a smart highway overlay where they claim it boosted road strength, longevity, and even travel efficiency.
So they're definitely putting it to use locally. That's often a good sign. Shows confidence in their own product.
Yeah, seeing local, real-world examples can definitely build trust.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about practical questions? If someone's considering this, what do they need to know? They have an FAQ section, right?
They do. It mostly reiterates the main benefits we've discussed.
Yeah.
The strength boost, faster curing, better durability, less cracking, the sustainability angle.
Does it confirm it's okay for really big projects, like infrastructure scale?
Yes, they specifically say it's suitable for large-scale stuff, highways, bridges, dams, tunnels, airport runways. They gave a clear yes to that.
Good to know. And the green aspect, do they double down on that in the FAQs?
They do. Reconfirm it's eco-conscious, reduces cement use, cuts Ski Euro, suitable for projects going for green certifications.
And how do you actually get this stuff?
Pretty straightforward, it seems. Website, phone that 713-683-9640 number again, or email info@thegraphenesolution.com. Standard ways to order.
Right, easy enough. So if you had to summarize their pitch, why do they say you should choose graphene concrete?
It really boils down to a few core things they keep repeating. One,
Yeah.
the tech itself. Those next-gen graphene additives delivering better strength, faster curing, top performance.
Okay.
Two, versatility. Suitable for almost any scale, from a house foundation to an airport runway or a seawall.
Got it.
Three, the eco-friendly engineering. Lowering emissions, supporting sustainable building, extending how long things last.
Right, the green angle again.
And finally, number four, being a Houston-based company, they emphasize reliable local support, expert advice, quick delivery, dependable service.
Okay, makes sense. Strong product, versatile, green, good support. That seems to be the package.
That's the pitch, yeah.
And do they have people backing this up, like customer testimonials?
Yep, they include a few. There's Thomas Marco, a commercial contractor, quoted saying the strength is unmatched and loved the faster curing.
Okay, contractor's perspective.
Then Adam Zampa, a civil engineer, praising their excellent customer service and fast delivery for a road project.
Service matters too.
And Thomas Muller, a project manager, called it a game changer for sustainable construction, helping cut their carbon footprint without losing strength.
So endorsements from different roles in the industry, contractor, engineer, project manager.
Exactly. It adds a layer of real-world validation to their claims.
And one last thing, they have a blog. What's that about?
Yeah, it looks like they use it to talk about broader construction trends, especially relevant to Texas, it seems.
Ah, regional focus.
Seems like it. Titles like Why Texas Cities Are Booming with High-Rise Developments, stuff about Texas overpasses, highway engineering for Texas conditions, the need for tunnels in Texas cities.
So connecting their product to what's actually happening on the ground there. Smart.
Yeah, positioning themselves within those local trends and needs.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Based on everything the graphene solution has put out there, what are the key takeaways for someone hearing about graphene concrete, maybe for the first time?
Well, based purely on their info, it's presented as a material with some pretty significant potential upsides. You've got the promise of much greater strength and durability.
The 50% increase, yeah.
Right. faster curing times, which can speed up projects, and then the environmental angle, reducing cement, lowering CO2, making things last longer.
And usable across a huge range of projects.
Apparently so. From skyscrapers and bridges down to houses and industrial floors, it seems positioned as a next-generation upgrade for concrete.
So it represents potentially quite a shift towards more resilient and maybe more environmentally conscious building.
That's certainly how they're framing it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that leads to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Considering everything we've heard about the potential for longer lifespans and reduced maintenance with materials like graphene concrete, how might adopting these kinds of advanced materials more widely actually reshape how we plan for infrastructure in the long run? How we budget for it, how we prioritize projects in our communities, and even beyond. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.